Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Cook and Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking shut up.
So this is Johnny Escott for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I am joined by the Commonwealth and European Games gold medalist and soon-to-be Olympian, Mr. Delicious Orie. How are we, mate?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure. Thanks for coming on. I know it's been a pretty mad week for you, hasn't it? And obviously you're making time for us, which I appreciate massively.
It has been, yeah, it has been. But I wouldn't have it any other way. It's been an amazing week I'll never forget. It's just great being able to go through these memories and have these memories and go through these events I've always dreamt about. So I'll look back and I know I've spent them very well.
Yeah, I can imagine it's been a crazy week, but we'll get into that. But first of all, let's go back to where it all started. You were born in Russia to a Nigerian father and a Russian mother. What do you remember about that?
Yeah. So early childhood, born in Moscow, and then my mom and dad moved back to where my mom was originally from with her family. So fairly local. I grew up just like had a normal childhood, really, going to school, like nursery, in the early years. Obviously, Russian being my first language. And I sort of started noticing a bit of difficulties on my parents' side, financially and career-wise, and a lot as I started getting older, 5, 6 years old, and my dad then decided, and mom decided then to move to England, basically to seek for a better life. And obviously, being a child, I just tagged along, and I had a new life here in the UK, starting again at 7.
How did you find that? Obviously, I can't imagine it was an easy transition, but I suppose at that age it was a little bit different.
Yeah, I was young. You're sort of like a blank canvas. I mean, I couldn't speak English or anything like that, and obviously wasn't aware of how it works in England, how day-to-day life is operate, because it's all different. There's different countries, but as a child, it's easy. You pick it up quite quickly. Going to school, starting primary school and everything like that, you pick it up quick, and you get soaked into the life, and it just becomes like sort of normal after a few years. So it was difficult at the start. I'm not saying it wasn't, learning language, making friends, getting used to the culture and how things work. But I knew I sort of like, from early, I knew that I belonged here. You could tell sort of like the way the people are, in the classroom, there's a lot more diversity and acceptance and all that. So it's like I knew I belonged here, and it was hard, but it was smooth sailing afterwards when I got that hang of things.
Yeah, it's a unique story in itself. I mean, there's not many people who have that sort of upbringing, and then obviously a new country at such a young age. But boxing wasn't your first sport, was it? What was your first sport that really got you into sport?
So it was basketball originally. I was quite a tall kid, so I sort of naturally gravitated towards basketball. And I've always been quite competitive since a young age. So academically, I've always wanted to get high grades and achieve as much as most as I possibly could. From the sports side, I was always quite sporty, competitive that way. So going to basketball, it was great for me as well, getting involved in that at a young age, because it allowed me to get to know more people, socialize, interact, get to know what real competition is about. That sort of a healthy competition, and so basketball was perfect for me at that age to develop my skills, not just through my basketball, like my actual basketball skills, but with my peers and my colleagues and my friends that I made during that sort of part of my life. So I took it very, very seriously. Again, I've always taken things seriously since a young age. So for me, it was like a dream to represent. I mean, to just play in the NBA and play in America and go all the way that way. I grew up playing that till the age of 18, and it sort of I hit like a roadblock. It was like I had to basically, obviously, move to America in order to chase that dream, but because I had legal difficulties with my passport and situations like that, it was difficult for me to carry on and chase that aspiration. So I decided to stay back, and at the same time, actually, one of my main goals was to get a degree at university, and it was a big dream of mine, my parents as well. So I made sure to follow through and do that and get to university in the UK, which was very important for me. So that's when I sort of started transitioning. It was just sort of like perfect time where I got involved in boxing, got to know a little bit about boxing, how it works, and I just thought I'd give it a go. And to be honest, I didn't really think just give it a go. I thought to myself, I'll do it and I'll do it to the best of my ability, and I want to get to the top. So that's how it all started, and that's how I was going still.
You mentioned it there briefly. You've obviously, have you got a bachelor's degree?
Yes, economics.
So how did you find that, juggling obviously as an amateur boxer, and then uni's quite intense. How did you find that? Workload?
It was difficult. It was I'm not going to say it was light work. It was very difficult because again, I wasn't just coasting through uni. I didn't just want to coast and get a decent grade, if you like. I wanted to get the best grade. I wanted to do very well. I wanted to understand my subjects. I wanted to do all the lectures, all the seminars, all of that. So, and at the same time, I wanted to excel at my boxing. So, as a result, I had to make a lot of sacrifices, and that result basically meant no life outside of boxing and university. I kept it very monk-like, very, very strict, very disciplined, but I knew it was all going to pay off in the end. So, and it did. It was tough 4 years, but I'll always look back at that time in my life and think, I was able to get through that, get through anything. So it's a testament. I'm very grateful that I was able to go through that as a young man.
Yeah, of course. And you ended up winning the ABAs. Just talk us through that.
That was the first big goal of mine, to win the ABAs, because it always is. As an amateur, what you want to do is you want to win the ABAs. You want to put your name on that domestic scene. You want people to know who you are domestically, nationally. So for me, that was my first aim. It took me 3 years, I believe, from when I started boxing to get that. I started in 2016. I won the ABAs in 2019. So 3 years. It took me 3 years to win the ABAs. 3 weeks. It doesn't sound long. It's not long, to be fair, but it was day in, day out, every single day, trial and error, learning. Going through failures, getting some achievements, getting back to drawing boards, and I managed to do it.
And then that's obviously led on to the past couple of years. 2021 was when you first got your British passport, and it's all gone pretty well from there, hasn't it?
Yeah. As soon as I was able to get my British passport, it opened so many doors for me that I knew that I was able to, these things that I was out to achieve for myself. I knew I was able to go and do it. I just needed something that was out of my control. So it was a very hard few years, actually, 2020, 2021, acquiring the passport. But as soon as I got that, I was able to really chase and go out there and get what I've been working hard for so long.
And then that obviously led on. You got bronze at the Europeans, and then you obviously got Commonwealth gold, and most recently European Games gold.
Yeah, as soon as I got on GB Boxing, got the passport, I know I have the commitment, the drive, the determination, everything. So as soon as I was given the opportunity, mate, I was grabbing that with both hands. No one was going to stop me. It's just simple as that. And it's still the same thing now. I'm very grateful for the position I've been in. It's been difficult, but now there is just nothing stopping me. Like, I've got no excuses. I did a few years ago, but now it's just like, mate, it's all on me now. Like, I've got everything. I can't complain. I lose, it's my fault. So it's like, let's go.
Now, of course, that's the work ethic to have. And obviously, it was only last Friday where you qualified for the European Games final. And more importantly, that meant you qualified for the Paris 2024 Olympics. I mean, that must have been an incredible feeling.
Man, it's like, I'll never forget last Friday because it's something, like day in, day out, waking up in the morning, going to training in the morning, doing my runs, coming back, doing my S&C, coming back, doing my sparring or whatever, getting beat down, losing teeth, breaking bones, and still being positive and knowing that I'm going to be in the Olympics one day and it's all going to be worth it. And on Friday, it was that confirmation. Like, yeah, that's it. You're right. You're going there. So it meant everything to me. Yeah, I'm very grateful.
And that was the first qualifier, was it, for Paris? Is that correct?
Yeah, first qualifiers out of 3. So there's 2 more opportunities next year. But I'm just so grateful to do it in the first one.
So what are your plans now for the next year or so, isn't it? What are you like plans for?
Focus for the Olympic Games. I'm in a position now where I can really focus, put all my attention to one thing, which is to get on top of that podium next year in the Paris Olympics. So, I don't have to worry about qualifying again or anything like that. For me, it puts me in a really good spot. So now it's all about getting in the ring with as many opponents as I possibly can, sparring, competing, doesn't matter, and looking at that bigger picture next year. I've got 1 year. It's going to fly by, I know. But I will take it in my stride, take it step by step, like I always have. I'm not going to change anything in terms of my training and commitment. I know I have that. In terms of like my actual technique and everything like that, I know I've got a lot to work on. So there is things to change inside the ring, and I will be doing that. And I've got a year to do it. I feel like that's perfect time for me to excel in the games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, British super heavyweights, we've got quite a good record at the Olympics recently. I mean, we've medalled in 5 of the last 6, is it?
With the supers, you mean?
Yeah, super heavyweight, sorry.
Yeah, I believe so. 5 of the last 6. I've never looked at it that way. So it's Orie Harrison. Is that from Orie from 2006? From 2000?
I think it was Athens. I think Athens is the only one where we've not.
Yeah, Athens was the only one. That's correct. Yeah. So yeah, Audley. Yeah, from 2000, but apart from 2004, everyone's medalled. So, and it puts me in a good position because I know that I'm more than capable of doing it because of the team. The people I'm surrounded with, they've been there, done that. They've took these guys to the finals. They've took these guys to the Olympic Games. So I know that I'm in good hands, and I'll do everything in my power to replicate what they've done.
And obviously, it's going to beg the question. I know you don't want to look past Paris, as that's the main thing at the moment, but there are going to be questions about you turning professional. What are your intentions with that?
Yeah, turning professional after the Olympic Games. That's for me the natural step after the Olympics. I've always looked up to the likes of Anthony Joshua, Joyce, and these guys. And Frazer Clarke, for example, like these guys, naturally they've progressed through for the Olympics and gotten turned professional. So that's exactly what I'll be doing. I feel like it's only natural for me, because I'll get all the experience that I need, and then be able to take on the world as a professional.
Yeah, you mentioned the names there, the likes of AJ, Joyce, and I know Frazer Clarke's very involved still. He's very much a team player. How much of a help has Frazer been to you?
He's been a massive help. When I got on the program, he was the number one super. He was the one I looked up to. He was the one that I looked to get as much information in and out the ring from, and that's exactly what he did. He was a great role model inside and out the ring, and I shared so many rounds with him. I was able to even share the rounds just before he actually went out to compete the game. So out in Tokyo. So I was able to really take advantage of his experience because he's been there and done that. So I'm very grateful for that and what he's done for me. And it works both ways. I'm sure I've helped him a lot. In that sort of Olympic stages. So we've been pushing each other on, and yeah, I couldn't have asked for a better person to get me from that domestic level to the international level that I'm on now.
Yeah, well, look, it's a year away. I'm sure you're going to have a very tough but very much a learning year ahead of the games, and I've no doubt you're gonna keep that run of, well, make it 6 out of 7 for us. That's how it's going to look by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll catch up before then. I'm sure we'll get a couple of catch ups in before then to see how you're taking over. But Delicious, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for giving us some of your time, because I know it's pretty hectic at the moment for you.
Not a problem. I absolutely love it. This is what it's all about, and I can't wait to see what the next year has got in store for us.
Great, thank you, Delicious.
Thank you very much.
Take care, mate. Bye bye.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Cook and Cassius, and some very special guests, Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking shut up.